So let's jump right in, starting with the basics of basics. Let's talk a bit about the partnering system for the main story journey. Now, when you're partnered up with someone in the main story, which unlocks when you reach about level 10 in the base class, so very early on, you both progress through the main story together. Some people do sometimes ask, is there a best composition for the main story journey? And the answer is technically yes. It is going to be more beneficial for most players to run a balanced main story party, i.e. 1 DPS and 1 tank, or 1 DPS and 1 healer. So next up, let's talk about how to focus on gearing in the early game. So there's an important priority you should focus on, and that is in the pieces that give attack. So for weapons, weapons give attack. Rings also give attack. And finally, gloves give attack. So when you're trying to prioritize what resources you should be spending where, for example, in the early game where gold might be a bit scarce then you should prioritize focusing those on the weapons, the ring, and the gloves, since those give attack. So next up, let's talk a little bit about the dungeons that you have in the game to grind. The most important dungeons are the rifts, which you should absolutely be doing every single day. The rifts drop equipment and crystals, which you can use to turn your gear to legendary. So next up, let's talk about Dragon. Dragon is another important daily. You're going to need to have at least 1 healer, and the first dragon you'll have 5 DPS and a healer. In this dragon, the second dragon, you might benefit from having a tank for a couple of the mechanics, but again, eventually it will reduce to the same 1 healer and 5 DPS. Now, when it comes to skills, you should always pay close attention to your class and not necessarily spreading out all of your star XP completely evenly. For example, you might find that one of your skills disproportionately gives a lot more damage than others, in which case it's okay to prioritize getting that one to a higher level